Good morning. I'll leave it to a minimum because I got 20 bucks that says he's gonna fall back asleep as soon as I start driving. So I've been driving. It's officially been 20 minutes and Vicenta is not asleep. So we're about to start our day. I have to go to work. Vicenta's gonna go with my mom, and I don't know when we'll be back again. No? No? Maybe. Yo, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is now 6:38 and I'm checking in with you. This is going to be a late vlog where I'm going to only focus on talking about what it was that happened today to me. And that is nothing. Absolutely nothing happened to me today, but there was a lot of things going on at work that I thought that I should talk about. One of them in particular that I continue to want to talk about but don't have the right words to talk about is that one of my viewers and I continue to bounce the channel off of each other, meaning this: she says things that happen at work, I give her experiences that I have in my own personal, and then we work together to try to see what it is that we can do to help each other. Surprisingly, she might think that I'm only trying to help her, but she's actually helping me. Amanda, thank you so much for that. But this is the point of what we're talking about. In circumstances, and there was a vlog, I'm not sure if I posted it or if I didn't, it depends, because it is a very touchy subject, and from an LP perspective, policies and procedures are everything, and that is the thing that we use from a manager's perspective, from operational side, to terminate, sorry to say, but to terminate or to use when it comes down to any termination, because you're not going to fire somebody because of a stupid reason. You're going to fire them because they're not on process, which relates to the policies and procedures of your job duties and your essential job functions. And there is a clear understanding for me that you should have as well when you're in loss prevention, and that is that the policies and procedures are there to protect the company and the employees. That from a safety standpoint, from a secure standpoint, from a legality, from all of those perspectives, but none of them are there to help you and to bind you out of a bad situation. For example, what we were talking about is making a bad stop. And in those circumstances, when you're putting the company at risk, when you're putting the safety of yourself and others at risk, when you're generating a potential lawsuit from stupidity and negligence, you are definitely going to put yourself in a situation where the rule book is going to be thrown at you, and the conversation is not going to be so light. So that was one of the things that we were talking about, and I felt it so important to bring up again and again, because no matter what toolkit that I bring to the table, if you're not following the policies and procedures of your company and using our toolkit to make your own policies and procedures, it's not going to work like that. Everything that we're doing with the channel is to uplift you and to bring you to the next level. Everything is a guide to how you can be more successful. Everything that we're doing and that we're talking about, that we're implementing, that we're adapting into our own life, into our actual work style, is going to be to enhance everything that you're already doing. So when you're following policy and procedure, number one, and then you're also adding in what our toolkit is, number two, you should be able to see a success that exemplifies the role in general. So from a loss prevention perspective, from a retail perspective, it doesn't matter what perspective you're looking at it from, even from a manager's perspective, DM level all the way to cleaning crew level. If you're not following policy and procedure, you are part of the problem. That is the utmost truth. And it shouldn't even matter if you're saying this, oh, one person gets to do this and the other person gets to do that. Bullshit. You should just do it because you know that it's right. You are the person that's working, not anybody else. So when you clock in, you should be worried about you, and that's the way that I see it as well. However, from a manager's level, or from a manager's perspective, from a manager level, I have to be concerned with the well-being and the actual processes and the procedures of all the employees that are working that day and every day going forward. And that is something that we should just think about every single day. The second thing was the way that you talk to people. And it's important that you understand this, because when you explain a situation, and I throw my finger out. When you explain a situation to somebody and you tell them exactly what it was that happened, and anywhere in that conversation of you telling them what happened, you are defending yourself, you potentially have put yourself in a position to be questioned. And that's just something that you should think about, because nowhere in my conversations do I ever feel like I have to defend myself. I, number one, think, okay, let me think about what they're talking about. Number two, if I could recollect, or if I can't, then I open up and talk to them about exactly what it was that I recollect or what I don't. And then lastly, the last thing that I do, and I really want to make sure that you understand this, the last thing that I do is I reflect, and I either say to myself, I'm gonna take that feedback, or I'm gonna apologize, because nothing that I do is in the wrong, or because it's malicious, or because it's vindictive. So I know that nothing that I'm gonna do or how I talk to people is gonna get me fired. It is important for you to understand that, because from a manager's perspective, if you are using your words or your verbiage in a way that is degrading or belittling people on the sales floor, in an environment where you're trying to coach them or train them, you could be turning off your approachability, and that is going to kill you on the sales floor and on the bottom ends, because you're gonna want these people to work hard for you during the fourth quarter, yet when it comes time to talking to them on a normal level, you never even tried to care. So that is something that I experienced today that I wanted to talk about. And today's two conversations go hand in hand because of two things. Well, my two fingers are just two different things. This is the two things that we talked about, and these are the two reasons why it's important and why they connect. Because number one, when you don't follow policies and procedures, meaning being respectful to the people that you work with and talking to them in a way that's going to be uplifting and not degrading and belittling, you are going to mess with the cohesiveness. And number two, you should always use a private setting to coach and train people that are on an individual performance plan, because if you do it in front of other people, they're automatically going to take it like if it's personal, and it's not.